we're going to do sort of a high-level overview of all things ChargeLogic. I promise I just have a handful of slides to kind of take a look at what our different products and services are, and then we'll jump into Nav and see how all of these products can work together for a very seamless workflow, easy user experience, and a great customer service experience throughout the whole order fulfillment cycle. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about ChargeLogic. We are known for our flagship solution, which is ChargeLogic Payments, and that provides payment processing right inside of Nav. But we do a lot more than just straight payment processing. We also have a service called ChargeLogic Connect, which is a cloud-based service that once you have ChargeLogic Payments, you can subscribe to. And it offers various services. Ecommerce Integration was the original service that was created for to make it easy to integrate Nav with any e-commerce, just about any e-commerce platform. There's also a tokenization service, so you can store credit card numbers on our cloud instead of in Nav for enhanced security. And we've added a click-to-pay invoicing where you can email out invoices and statements, and a customer can click a button to pay securely online and have that payment come into Nav and be applied automatically. ChargeLogic Shipping allows you to provide accurate rate quotes when the order is being placed, and that can save companies money and fulfill ChargeLogic's promise of helping reduce credit card processing fees to get the best rates possible. And we'll see how that works when we get into the software. And ChargeLogic Retail is our newest offering, and that gives you a rich POS solution that is actually inside of Nav. So all of your Nav information is available to you at the POS. And that also makes, it's also designed to be a very easy user interface at the POS that's very easily customized. So by adding retail, we now are able to offer a full omni-channel solution that allows businesses to take credit card payments from any sales channel, all within the same Nav system. And I don't have a little logo up here for ChargeLogic Notify, but we also do have a small add-on called ChargeLogic Notify, which is an email notification software that you can create customized templates and send out targeted emails that keep your customers up to date about their orders. Sort of like the emails that you would get from Amazon, you know, order confirmations, shipment notifications with tracking, invoices, and more. So we're just going to delve a slight bit deeper into each of the offerings. ChargeLogic Payments, our credit card, or actually any kind of electronic payment processing, was designed to sort of focus on three areas. Our seamless integration with Nav allows us to leverage the native functionality, things like releasing and posting, to kick off automated processes to process electronic payments. We're also the only payment processing software for Nav that is PCI validated. So that's not just saying we're PCI compliant. It means our software has been tested by a third party to a qualified security assessors, that they're called, to verify that our code meets the highest standards in securely storing and transmitting credit card data out over the internet. And that's really important for merchants because anyone who's taking credit card payments is required to be PCI compliant. And this, using a validated software, takes them a long way towards that. We are also the only payment processing software for Nav that is certified to connect directly to the payment processor versus going through a middleman, which we know as payment gateways. So this feature, along with a lot of others, are specifically designed to help lower credit card processing fees. So ChargeLogic Connect is, as I said, our cloud-based service that does require ChargeLogic payments, and we created it to sort of focus in on three areas as well. You only pay for what you use. There is a monthly service fee, and it starts with ChargeLogic payments running in Nav. And the three areas we've broken it down to, the first one is the Ecommerce Integration, and you can use whichever pieces of this that you want. We have one feature, the hosted payments, where you may have a website and you've got some way to already get the order information into Nav. So ChargeLogic Connect can handle the payment portion of that, securely collecting the credit card information, getting the approval, and linking that up to the sales order. If you don't already have a way to have a sales order created in Nav, you can add the hosted orders feature, and that allows you to have a customer place an order on your website using the order template in Nav and even the customer template. We can actually create a sales order automatically, filling in any custom fields that you might have, link the payment to that order, have the credit card information available for any subsequent transactions like filling back orders or any refunds, for example, and have that happen just automatically without a user having to do anything. And you can also manage a gift card program using ChargeLogic Connect, so that if you do have multiple sales channels, you can manage the balance in real time on the Connect server. So if somebody comes into your retail store and then maybe from their smartphone logs into your website to place an order, there's no chance for them to double dip on the balance of their gift card because we're maintaining that in real time. Another feature we've added is our accounts payable feature, and that includes, we call it our click to pay. So you can either use click to pay for invoices or statements, and this is just triggered by the act of posting an invoice in Nav. Will automatically send out emails with a little button where they click to pay, and we'll see that in action here in just a couple of minutes. You can also send out statements that way, where a customer can make a payment, they can select which invoices they want to pay. When that comes into Nav and the cash receipts is posted, it will automatically make the cash applications to any of the invoices they selected. And then finally, there's a security piece of the ChargeLogic Connect service, which comes with the monthly fee, where you can actually store card numbers on our cloud-based server, have a token that lives inside of Nav. The users will see the actual last 4 digits of the card number, and anytime Nav needs it, it can go and exchange the token for card number to process a transaction. But in the meantime, if your networks are ever hacked, no one has access to your customer's credit card data. Okay, so let's see here. We also do have a mobile app for iPhone and iPad called ChargeLogic Anywhere. And this actually uses your ChargeLogic Connect account, so the same account you already have maybe for an e-commerce site. So if you have people, your salespeople out on the road, or maybe going to trade shows, for example, they can take orders right on their phone. They can have a customer sign right on their phone, take payments, or even process it, as an order on terms. Have that order and payment information come into Nav just the same way a web order would. So people out on the road can get authorizations without having to wait until they're back in the office. So ChargeLogic Shipping is the next product we're going to cover, and I am just trying to sort of push through these slides so that we can get into the software itself. ChargeLogic Shipping, we kind of fell into the shipping business because of our knowledge of the credit card industry. And one of the pain points that we were hearing a lot about was that people were paying higher credit card processing fees because they didn't know freight charges up front. So we developed a shipping software, and of course there are other values to the shipping software which we'll cover, but we have these upfront rate quotes using our Smart Weight and Smartpak technology and a direct connection to the carrier. So no more loading rate tables. This is actually pinging the carriers in real time to get rate quotes using the negotiated rates that the merchant has. So whatever their regular freight pricing is, we'll get that, and then there are markup options available in the software. So not having to deal with rate tables, not having to deal with published price, that makes things a lot easier. It also is, we leverage some of our retail experience to make the shipping station interface very clean and easy to use. So by being able to know the freight charges up front, we can lower the processing fees and make getting rate shopping very easy, and also gives a great customer experience because now you can tell your customer right when they're on the phone. Our Smartpak technology does a virtual pack of the products. It doesn't mean the warehouse has to use the algorithm we came up with, but given the dimensions of the items that would already be in NAV and the box options that are already loaded into NAV. We'll virtually pack it. We'll try all the different combinations to see how many boxes we think it is. Now we can tell the customer while they're on the phone how many boxes they can expect. And by knowing how many boxes there should be, we can get more accurate rate quoting. The other thing we took into consideration when we designed the software was making it easy to implement. It was really, there's a much smaller footprint than some of the other offerings out on the market when it comes to NAV. And as with our payments product, it comes with a setup wizard, so it makes it very easy to step through doing the setups. It's got easy-to-use interface in the warehouse. You can use barcode scanners, touch screen, keyboard commands right from the packing station. I mentioned, we have a direct connection to the carriers. We are currently certified using UPS, FedEx, DHL, TNT, and the United States Postal Service. And another feature is that we can ship from Canada. We can certainly ship to any countries internationally that the carriers support. But by being able to ship from Canada, that's another request that we were getting quite a lot of. And if you also can use local carriers, there's a setup that's similar to one in our credit card software that you can use local carriers. You would just need to manually input the pricing because we wouldn't know how much they're going to charge you, but then you can use that same workflow at the shipping station. And finally, ChargeLogic Retail, we'll take a little closer look at. So it does give you everything you need right at the point of sale because you are actually running NAV. Our POS, the interface at the POS is actually a modified page in NAV. And so that means that the POS, you have access to all your information that's inside of NAV. So all the master data, item setups, special pricing for customers, you can do all of that right from the point of sale. Customers can come in and make payments on their account. They can start an order in the back office and pull that up at the point of sale. Maybe they have it marked for store pickup and complete the sale at the store. So there's a lot of flexibility because really everyone is working in the same database. So by being able to manage all the sales channels from one spot, it really gives the user a lot of power. And with the modern interface that it comes with, just makes it a good experience for the customer. They don't have to wait while you're checking different systems or going here and there. You can get everything you need right from one spot. Now, our retail package does come in 3 different offerings. The basic offering, which would be for a company that doesn't have a need to process payments in the back office, just at the point of sale. So maybe there is no head office, maybe they just have a few retail locations. Basic would likely be all they would need to have full functionality. I did forget to mention that our retail product comes with our ChargeLogic Notify, the email software. So you would be able to email receipts if a customer would prefer their receipts to be emailed. And basic is also, a good option if they just have a couple of locations, maybe a small retail operation. The next level pulls in the ability to process payments in the back office as well as at the point of sale. And this is where it really starts becoming a true point of sale integrated with your back office software. It does also come, all of our retail offerings come with the ChargeLogic Notify. And now that you have Notify and back office, you can leverage the order confirmation, shipment notifications, and the options that Notify offers. The middle tier package is ChargeLogic Retail Essentials. Is for a mid-sized business, maybe up to about 30 terminals, because now everyone's running in the same NAV database, so you don't want to have too much traffic from different locations going, but it really depends on the volume as to whether or not you can stick at this level. For the larger retailers that maybe have a lot of locations or some locations have spotty internet connections, our top tier is the ChargeLogic Retail Enterprise, and this allows to have stores being offline or each store having their own servers, so you don't have to have real-time communication with the head office. And then the data can be replicated. It includes data replication, and that data can be replicated bidirectionally at any time it's convenient. Most people set this up to schedule a job where you would be sending replication information back and forth, and how frequently you do that just really depends on your volume. That's it for the slides. I'm going to switch over to Nav and let's see how some of this works together. Okay, we're going to start with processing an order that leverages our ChargeLogic payments, notify, and shipping. We've tried to tag into native nav functionality as much as possible so that it's easy for the users to learn how to use our different products. And if I wasn't pointing them all out, it might even be challenging to see which is which, because they all do run really nicely together. So I'm going to use the trusty Canon group and point out a couple of things we've added to a native sales order. Over on the right-hand side here, we've added this EFT fact box. And this allows you to look at a glance to see whether any payment has been processed against this order. An authorization on a credit card, for example, which is putting a hold on the customer's funds, guaranteeing them for the merchant for a period of days, usually around a week or maybe a little bit less. And then a settlement is when we actually are charging the card. We're going to settle the authorization. So somebody comes behind me, they can easily determine whether something's happened with this order as far as payments go. If I slide down here to the bottom, we've also added this EFT Fast tab. And this allows you to set up customers. So if you have a regular customer who pays by credit card, maybe they like you to keep their card on file, I can have a customer set up with a payment method of credit card, and I can have a default card on file. So every time I open any sales document or credit card transaction, it's automatically going to pull in their default card. Now I can do a lookup to the customer credit card list associated with this customer. You can see here in this column we've marked that card as default, so that's why it pulled in. I can pick one of the other cards, or I can put in a brand new one. So I'm not required to use the default card, but it's just another automation that's fewer chances for data entry errors with credit cards. And I can store credit cards by customer or by contact. I don't have to come here and manually populate the list from the customer card. I can enter credit card numbers on the fly, and the first approved authorization is going to automatically store that card number against the customer or contact if there is a contact. Now in this order, I'm going to enter a new card because I'm also using ChargeLogic Connect Secure Remote Storage. So I'm using our tokenization service that's storing card numbers on our cloud-based servers and just has a token in nav that represents the card number, but not derived from it. When I enter a new card number, the only time my user is going to see the full card number is when I enter it for the first time. After it gets tokenized, they're going to see the last 4 digits, 5502, and it'll say the card type and the expiration. So anytime moving forward, a customer can just call up and give you the last 4 and say they want to use that card. When I validate this field or I leave this field, you'll see somewhere right around the middle here, it's going to say accessing remote storage. So I don't need to do a transaction to tokenize it. Just entering the card number is enough. Sending the card number up to the Connect server, getting a token back into nav, and now I see the last 4, card type, and expiration. So let's now add something to the shipping tab. I'm going to select a shipping agent. Now I might have this already set up at the customer card level if they have a carrier of choice. I might have that already set, in which case it would come in as soon as I opened up an order for the customer. And it makes a nice visual so that the user can confirm that in fact that is the carrier that they intended to choose. We also have some different options we've added to the native shipping tab. You can note whether it's commercial or residential address. This helps getting the best rates if the carrier knows where they're delivering. I could even have a customer set up to specify maybe they always want to use UPS ground, so then that would auto-populate in. Otherwise, we're going to do a rate shop. We've got Saturday delivery options. We have some delivery confirmation options if we have different requirements when the package gets delivered. We can ship carbon neutral. Even for COD, you can choose what type of payment you would accept. And then you can also choose who's going to be paying for the shipment. If it's the shipper, receiver, you can have their third-party account number filled in. Again, this can pull in from the customer card or just one-off. So now let's add some items. I'm going to add 20 side panels. And now we're going to do a rate shop. Now, one thing I'll just mention, I'm going to let the automations do our work, but if I wanted to manually get a credit card authorization at any point, maybe once I have the freight lines included, I can always manually open up a credit card authorization. This allows us to, it'll pull in the full amount of the order at this moment in time. Now, of course, we'd rather wait till we have the freight charges. A customer can use multiple payment methods, or maybe they have splitting it across 2 credit cards, so I'd open 2 of these and put how much I want on each card. I can also schedule payments using ChargeLogic payments. Maybe they want to wait till Monday to charge their card, or maybe they want to split this up into 4 payments. So you have lots of flexibility with how you want to process the credit card payment. In this case, I'm not going to manually process that. So the first thing I'm going to do is a rate shop, and this is us calling out in real time out to the carrier. That are viable from our shipping location to our ship to location. And because this is a live connection to the carrier, these estimated delivery dates and times are coming back from them. You'll notice that there are 2 columns here, cost and price. The cost is our negotiated rate with the carrier. This is what it's going to cost us, what they're going to charge us. If I'm using our markups, and we have different ways to mark up freight, where you can use item category pricing. You can mark everything up a dollar amount, a percentage amount. You could do mix and match. Maybe certain product groups, CDs are all going to get $5 added. Maybe it's based on the dollar amount of the order. Maybe I have some promotions in place, so I have free shipping between these dates. You can do all sorts of things with the markups. And it's using the same design like customer pricing in NAV. So it's very easy to set that up. So I can now give my customer, and some people don't show the cost column to their users. Maybe they only want them to see price. Some people like to show both, so if they know if they have any wiggle room to negotiate on freight. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the ground service. And the other thing is that customer service can use is I see that I have 2 packages estimated. And I can actually see how those are going to be split up. Now, and again, the warehouse does not have to use this. It's just information for my customer service person to have. So I'm going to choose ground, and it's going to add that sales line. So the next thing I'm going to is release my order, and several things are going to happen. First thing is going to be validating the shipping address with the carrier. So this is them checking their address list, and I have said that I want it to go to 192 Market Square. They have found a 192 Market Street in Newark, New Jersey. Mine is actually New York, New York, but I guess it's close enough that they wanted to check whether I wanted to change the address. Sometimes it might just be the same address but a formatting issue. The more accurate you get to what the carrier has in their records, the better your rates should be. So I'm going to say, yep, that's good. Now I'm going to be getting the credit card to get an authorization. I'm emailing out my order confirmation to the customer. And I can now look at my fact box on the right. I see where I have an authorization obtained. If I navigate to my email log, I can actually see a record that the order confirmation was emailed, exact date and time, and I can even see who got it. This is using our ChargeLogic Notify. I can see, and I can always modify who's going to get it. All right, so this is order 1981. So now we're going to switch hats here and go to the shipping station. And we're going to grab this last order. So this is the shipping station interface, and again, you can use touchscreen, barcode scanner, keyboard and mouse, or command keys. And we've set it up. Of course, you can customize these ribbons, but what we're showing here are the actions that apply at this stage of the shipment. So I'm going to select a package, and then we'll see now that we're in the packing station, we have different buttons available to us. And you can determine whether you want the warehouse to be able to do certain things. Like maybe we can have them change the service level. Maybe the customer service calls down and says they want to send something overnight instead. Or you can, again, control what you want the warehouse to be able to do. Unpacked items showing up top, packed items at the bottom. So I'm going to start packing. I have 20. Now I could be barcode scanning them. I could also just use a change quantity if I know that I'm going to put 10 in each box. I can pick my quantity and just put in my however many I want. And I'm going to close the first package. Now if I'm hooked to a scale, it's not going to ask me the weight because for my demo I'm not. I'm just going to confirm it. And now I'll pack my other box. Again, now I have some different options here. The packer can suspend a package. Maybe if the items are damaged, they have to set that off to the side. Maybe delete a package, reopen it, and again, if I want to give them the option to change the service level. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and post the package. Now, if I'm hooked up to a label printer, the next thing that's going to happen, I'm sending out a shipment notification with tracking right now using Notify. It's going to want to print a label for me. So if I don't have a label printer, but I have a laser printer, it can automatically print that for me. For today's demo, I'm just going to send that to XPS. We'll call what's today, the 26th. And because there are 2 boxes, it's going to print 2 labels. We'll call that 26, let's see, 26A. And again, because I'm not hooked up to a label printer, it's going to a laser printer. It's confirming if the label is printed successfully. Paper jams, somebody else grabs my document. So I can say yes. And what I end up with is an actual, UPS label or whoever the carrier is. That can be put right onto the box if I'm doing laser printer, or it'll be a sticker. But this is coming, again, directly from the carrier. And then I'm done. I'm ready for my next package. So I'm going to go ahead and exit the shipping station for right now. And we're going to go back to our sales orders, shipped not invoiced. Should be this last one here. And I still see my authorization. Now I just need to post my invoice because I've already posted the shipment. And you can have the warehouse station post the invoice and shipment. And let's go to our posted document. So it should be this last one. And now if I look over on the right-hand side, that net amount authorized has moved down to my net amount to settle. Because now the card is ready to be charged. I've shipped my product. I can drill down and look at the settlement. I can see it's in my batch for the day. And I can easily go back and find the related authorization. So it's always very easy to track any of your payments through the system. Oh, the other thing I meant to point out on the posted invoice, again, with our ChargeLogic Notify, I have an email log so I can see when I sent the invoice and who received it. I can always resend one if a customer, says they didn't get it, or they want maybe somebody else who wasn't on the original list said, can you send me a copy? I can always re-email an invoice, and I can, just add myself or whoever they might say to send a copy to. And it will send those out. There's also an email log where you can go see all your emails that have ever been sent out. All right, so now that was an order that encompassed ChargeLogic payments, a little bit of Connect for the tokenization, and our shipping product. So now I'm going to do one that shows our click to pay. And let's just put in an item here quickly. I'll make that $29.99 bicycle. So this customer, again, down at the bottom, there's no credit card. They actually have terms. Their payment terms are 1 month. And on their invoicing tab, we also have this field called electronic invoice type. And you have some different options here. You can email only an invoice, send just an electronic invoice. You can have it print a paper copy of the invoice and email. You can have it just print a paper copy of the invoice, and that paper copy can have a short URL that's going to take them, if they logged in once they get their invoice in the mail, takes them to our secure hosted payment page where they can pay online. And you can also use our Notify product to, instead of having our Connect service send the email, we're going to send a customized emailed invoice, but it will include a little button, click to pay. With ChargeLogic Notify, we have a list of email addresses. It will suggest all the email addresses associated with this particular customer. So even you can see this first one is actually a salesperson. Maybe the salesperson wants to be blind copied every time their customer places an order or requests a quote. You can send out quotes. So I can choose, these are all preset. It can be preset on the contact card, who gets what type of document, and then I can also always blind copy myself. And this is handy when you're doing collections, particularly that I know, who I sent what to and when. So I'm just going to go ahead and post this invoice. And then we're going to switch hats to see what the customer is getting in their inbox. We'll first just pop into that posted invoice really quick. I can see on my right-hand side, nothing up my sleeve, no payments have been applied. This is invoice 103,893. So now we're going to switch hats to be what the customer might get in their inbox, and it's already here. Here's our invoice 103,893. Now this is a ChargeLogic Notify email, so these templates comes with templates preloaded. You can fully customize them using HTML, putting your logo, your colors, and any text or sections you want it to pull in any fields from nav. We just have ours saying, thanks for your business, and we have an FAQ at the bottom, and click to pay online. If you weren't using ChargeLogic Notify, the invoice they would get an email that's much more generic, and you've received an invoice from your company name and the amount of. There is a PDF of the invoice. It's not the actual nav invoice. It's fairly generic, and you can put your logo and colors, but nothing else. But it does have all the standard pertinent information an invoice might have. And you can see down at the bottom that I was talking about the short URL. You can pay this invoice online, or you can scan the QR code and be taken to this secure payment page on our server. But because this was sort of generic and people wanted the ability to customize these, we added the ChargeLogic Notify option. So again, same invoice information, but you control what your customer sees. So we're going to go ahead and click to pay online. When they click to pay, we do have them enter the amount. This just confirms this isn't any sort of a spam running through people's sites. It's actually somebody who knows the amount of the invoice. And they're taken to a hosted payment page on the Connect server. Now this page, you can have your logo on here, you can have your colors, but other than that, it's not customizable. And then here the customer can put in their payment information. We'll pick a MasterCard this time. Now this is all being done outside of nav, so nav, all nav did was post the invoice. Let's say we'll go February 2020. Nav posted the invoice, this email went out, this is all happening, nav doesn't have to be up, and the customer can pay their invoice. When they hit pay, it's actually going to pass through the Connect server, which is now acting like a payment gateway, and going out to the customer's payment processor, whoever they've signed up with, to get an authorization. The nice thing about it is once it's approved, the customer ends up with a receipt. Thanks for your payment. Print this page for your records. Down at the bottom, there's a record of what card they used and the date they made their payment. So if they clicked on that button again, it would just take them back. This is a unique URL for every invoice, so it would just bring them back to their receipt, so they can't double pay. Now if we switch hats again, actually before I do that, I'm going to place a web order. And then we'll go back and pull this information in from Connect. So we have here, this is just our demo website. The website itself isn't important. It's not even very nice. It's just ChargeLogic Connect is going to come in when it comes to the payment piece here. So I'm going to add a pair of tennis shoes and checkout. So checking out for a $28 pair of shoes, just confirming billing, shipping, and I want to go ground. So this is where Connect comes in. This is the ChargeLogic checkout piece where we talked about the hosted payments. You have three options of how a customer can check out. One, which you see here, is the website itself can collect the card holder information and go out from the website to get an approval. And I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. And let's make it January 2021. Now, doing this is perfectly fine and PCI compliant, but that means now the website is in scope for PCI compliance because it is touching the numbers, and there are some very specific rules with regards to how you're allowed to handle the credit card numbers. So ChargeLogic Connect offers two other options, which makes it much more secure. One is when the customer goes to enter their credit card information, they get redirected to a hosted payment page that looks like that Click to Pay payment page, where they fill in their payment information, and then once it's approved, they get bounced back to any landing page the web developer determines, thanks for your order, whatever you want to show them. The other alternative is, and it's a nicer interface for the customer, but involves a little bit more development work, is you have these embedded iframes, and the customer, when they're entering their credit card information, it actually looks to them like they're just staying on your checkout page, but the ChargeLogic Connect server is actually the ones collecting that credit card information. So it's a nicer experience. We match the color, so it is the fact that there is an embedded iframe is invisible, but it does, like I said, it does a little bit more development work. We have people using all the different options. So now when I go to hit confirm, it's again going to pass this $28 request out through the processor, through the ChargeLogic Connect service out to the processor to get approved, and the website would determine what landing page you want to show your customer. So now the website is done. It's holding that information on the Connect service, the order information and the payment information until nav is ready. And we're now going to go back into nav. Switching hats again. This is now normally something that you would schedule using a job queue in nav to poll the Connect server to see if there are any new payments from Click to Pay or any new orders from the web. Some people poll once every hour. Some people, if you have a higher volume, it's really up to you. Some people poll every minute, once a day. You can really decide to have it automatically check for new payments or orders, or you can also manually do that request, and that's what we're going to do here today. So just asking Connect, of course, these are sequentially numbered, so it's just looking to see if there are any new payments or orders since the last time we asked. And it's saying it did create one new order. So if I come over to my open sales orders, it should be my last one here. So it is, I placed the order on the website. See, it's come in here. I've got one pair of Adidas for $28, and if I look on my fact box on the right, I can see that $28 authorization, that Visa ending in 1111 with the expiration of 121 is already attached. Now it just becomes like a back office order. So there's nothing a person has to do to get that to push all the way through. When I'm finished, I can just post that, ship an invoice. Again, it's going to send out, confirmations and whatnot. And then it's done, and I come back to my posted invoice, and it will have settled that authorization. It's added that authorization to today's batch. Now let's check on our web order. So we're going to, I did our web order. We're going to check on our posted invoice where we made an online payment. So this was the click-to-pay invoicing. You can see that that payment of $29.99 has already come in. Now it came in as an authorization because on the Connect service it's always just going to authorize. But then it came into Nav and picked up a setting that we have in ChargeLogic, which is optional but most people use, to say if I'm putting a payment against a posted invoice, I just want to charge the card today. I don't need to hold an authorization until I'm ready to ship my order. I've already shipped it. I just want to authorize and immediately settle. So when the authorization came in and saw that it was linked to a posted invoice, it settled it. I can see now it's been added to the batch, and I can easily navigate back to the authorization that was linked to it. So no matter, which the sales channel, however the order was initiated, it all comes through cleanly in the back end. So now if we open up our batch, now this batch itself, many people do automate this process. They would just have a scheduler say, submit my batch, at 5 p.m. But you can also have somebody come in here and manually settle that batch, depending on what your preference is. I can see all my transactions. Here's my web order. Here's my click-to-pay invoice. Here's the one we shipped. And I think I must have had one in here from earlier. So at the end of the day, this batch is going to get closed and submitted, and this is when we're notifying the processor that we want to charge those cards today. And once the processor accepts the batch, I can now come over to my cash receipts journal, and we will automatically populate our cash receipts journal. And you can see over on the right-hand side, all the applies to document numbers are set, so there's nothing anybody has to do to manage those payments. It's going to automatically get applied. We've added a little clearing account set up to our cash receipts journal. This is optional using ChargeLogic payments, where some people will set up like a dummy bank account or even a GL account to have wash through all the individual credit card transactions. If it's a bank account, you can even use NAV Bank Recs to reconcile your credit card statements. And then we just have a summary line that hits the operating bank account. And we've even added a little date offset to our summary line because in real life it does take a couple of days normally to get funded for Visa, MasterCard, 3 days for American Express, so that when the cash balance shows up in your operating account, it's the day you actually should have been funded. You don't have to use the clearing account, the date offset, or even the clearing account. You can just have it post directly. So I'm just going to go ahead and post that through. And we'll just, let's see, we'll come to one of those accounts and look at the ledger entries. So here at the end here, this is the invoice is this last entry for my web order, the payment that was applied, and I can see my remaining amount is 0. So a very clean interface. There's obviously a lot of other things, reporting capabilities and history that you can look up for your batches. We won't go into all of that today, but just to suffice to say, if I go to our sales and marketing EFT menu, you have various periodic activities where you can do batch submissions, some different reports that you can run, and then at the very bottom we actually have a history of accepted batches, so you can do all kinds of research that you might need. All right, so I am now, and unfortunately right now I don't have my retail set up in my regular demo database, so I have a separate database with retail, but they are available with everything all in one. I'm going to open my point of sale. So this would be maybe what a store manager would see or what you would see in the head office. But remember, our retail product is just running nav. It's actually the POS is a modified page in nav. So for my cashiers, I might not even let my standard cashiers get into this back office. When they log in based on permissions, they may only be exposed to seeing the POS. And they have to log in, and then they would be brought right to the point of sale interface. So you can decide who has the ability to get into the back office. It's usually a store manager. So because we're just running nav, as I said, all the master data, item data set up in nav, pricing information, it's just set up one time in the back office, and then at the POS you can always rely on having the right prices, the right items. You have special customer pricing come in. This POS is easily customizable. It's literally a drag and drop interface to have the buttons you want, where you want everything to show. You can control what these buttons do. Maybe you have them pointed to different item types. We have one set up, suggest a cross-sell. Maybe you always give a military discount. So you can really just pick and choose. They can be linked very easily to what type of function you want that button to have. You don't have to have a particular customer picked, but if you do, let's say, if it's just a cash customer, then I could just ring up my sale. We can do one like that. So and then when I have my items, I can again barcode scan them. I can key in the item number. I could type in a search name. So depending on what I want to do, I'm just going to here pick out my bicycle, and you can have a graphic show up if you want to. And I can process this right through. So I'm going to go ahead and do one where I'll pay. If my customer wants me to email a receipt, I could put in their email address here. And now it's giving me, what payment options. Of course, this is a full functionality, credit, debit, check, gift cards, and certainly cash. And you can do split tender, some of each, however the customer wants to pay. Confirming the amount to see if I want to put that all on one card. It's asking for the account number, expiration, and then sending out the emailed invoice, and we're done with that sale. Now if I want to do one where it is a known customer or a customer that I do have in my system, if I do select customer, I'm actually getting a lookup. This is looking up in nav. This is my common searched customers. And let's say I want to do the Canon group. Now when I put in the Canon group, some other buttons showed up. So I can have buttons that are specific to a customer. So this customer, maybe they want to come in and make a payment on their account. So I can have that. It's going to bring me to a list in nav of their open invoices. I can have an order that started, maybe they called into the back office, but they said that they wanted to pick it up in the store. I can do that here, managing an order, and be able to open up an order that was started in the back office right at the POS. I can do all kinds of different functions. Maybe if they have a return, for example, their receipt would be barcoded, so the cashier could scan their barcode to bring up the original order. Otherwise, I could do a search if it's a named customer by name. Let's see here. So for this customer, we'll go for, let's say I want to just search my items. I just typed in desk, and it brought me up all the items that have the name desk. I have a bunch of computer desktops in here. So I can just do a search that way as well. So it says, didn't find what I wanted. So I'll do another bike. And then maybe I want to add a swivel chair. So if I want to change the amount, change the unit price, and give them additional discount, if I made a mistake, I can void a line very easily, clear the customer. if they wanted to buy some gift cards, I can activate gift cards. I can do a refund and put the balance on a gift card. Again, fully functioning point of sale. We also have Layaway. We support promotions. We support Layaway, like loyalty programs. If you have repeat customers where you can have dollar amounts match, they get X points for every amount of dollar they spend. It can be dollar for dollar. It can just be how many cups of coffee, and the 10th one is free. So full POS functionality. Let's see. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish paying this out. They've already got an email address here. Just pay by credit card again. Sending out the emailed receipt, and we're done. So the manager can certainly come in here and do things like end of day. Let's see here if I have that. Let's see more. So here's some of my end of day where I can do an X report. Now again, with permissions, likely not everybody would be able to do this. I can do an X report to get my totals to date. If I want to remove some tender, I can pull it out here, and you can keep track to remove tender. You can put in the amount. You can put in, which denominations that you're taking. So of course they have to be passworded and to have access to that. So different cashier operations like that. My count, my float, I can do here. I can reprint receipts. If I want to, and again, this is normally reserved for a manager, I'm going to close the point of sale, and now I am in my back office nav. I can do all kinds of things from here. I can transfer inventory. I can do new purchase requests. I can do internal stock transfers, maybe a shipment. Maybe somebody's ordering it in my store, but I want to pick it up somewhere else. And then, of course, I have all my cash counting where I can pick my, who my drawer is, if I want to transfer, if I want to do my bank deposits. So full functioning point of sale. And, of course, today I can't show you nearly all of the features that it offers, but I do want to point out we do have deeper dives and web demos on all of our products. And I think we have some upcoming dates here. If you wanted to get more information, we just wanted to kind of give you a high-level overview to see how these things look. We have deeper dives coming up on our ChargeLogic Payments, Connect, our retail product, and our shipping product. You're always welcome to contact me directly or contact our sales team, and we're happy to give you some more information. This was just to let you take a little look and see if any of these things look like they'd be a good fit for any of your customers. So I think I took it pretty close to the edge here, but that's all I have to show you today. I don't know if anyone has any questions or anything that I didn't cover that you're interested in.
Thanks, Debbie. Just a reminder to everybody, if you have questions, you can put them in the question box. But we did have two come in while you were presenting, so I'll go ahead and ask those now so people can type in their questions. Okay. The first one was, if I'm already a ChargeLogic partner, can I also sell ChargeLogic retail?
Absolutely. Once you're signed up to be a partner, all of our offerings are covered under our partner agreement. So we do have partners that are exclusively selling one product, but you can pick any of them to sell. Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. And the second one that we had was, what kind of partner training do you offer?
For our partners, we do offer free training in our Cronus database. We actually also have a partner training series that each quarter we will offer a different product where we do a deep dive. They're usually about 4-hour sessions. We record those sessions, and then those recordings are available to download from our partner portal at any time. So we have done our payments and shipping. think we have Connect coming up maybe next week, and then the next quarter will be our ChargeLogic Retail. And that one is a little bit deeper dive to do the setups, but those are available for free to our partners.
Perfect. Thanks, Debbie. And I don't see any other questions, but if anybody thinks of a question later, you can always reach out to the sales@chargelogic.com to get that answered. And Debbie, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much for inviting us, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Great. Have a good day.
Okay, thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.